I'm really impressed. I never thought this bike would pull me up this hill with just throttle only. Wonder if it's gonna overheat anything by the time we get to the top. Hey, what's going on everyone? Today we're gonna be taking a look at Wallke's new H7 all-wheel drive. Now this is the step-through version of the H9 that I reviewed. If you guys haven't seen that video, make sure you check it out. That was a folding dual motor bike. This is their step-through version that does not fold. 20-inch wheels, 1000-watt motor in the back, 750-watt motor in the front, and if it's the same controller as the H9, it should be about a 40-amp controller. Now this is a pretty big, pretty heavy bike, coming in at about 111 pounds when I weighed it. 21 pounds of that is the 48-volt, 40-amp-hour battery, which is pretty big, and it comes with a 5-amp charger, so that's really nice to see. Good-looking quality charger that has a fan in it to keep it cool, and the bike itself weighed about 90 pounds when I weighed it, so overall, about 111 pounds. But we're gonna put this baby through some tests today, see what kind of power it has. First test I'm gonna do is come up this hill with just throttle and see if it makes it, which it should, because the H9 made it up that hill. And then we're going to take this baby on a speed run and see what kind of speed it'll go, because it says it's supposed to do about 34 to 35 miles per hour. So you better believe we're going to test that to see if that's true. And if you're interested in picking one of these up after watching this video, I'll leave a coupon code down in the description. I don't know when it expires, but if I get any, I'll put them down there. To get the dual motor version with the 40-amp-hour battery, I believe it's like $1,660 currently. If you watch this entire video and feel like this is the bike that's right for you, please consider using that link down there and I'll make a small commission, which helps support me creating these videos for all of you. But let's get into it. Let me know down below what you think after you watch this. And it's probably a little muddy down here, so I'm going to try to stay on this upper edge. I'm going to start here at this second post, and we're going to do throttle only. This is where I start out on all my bikes. And no problem, pulled me right up over it. All right, here we go. Starting out where I start out on all my tests, throttle only. Let's see what we can maintain. And for a little context here, my fastest 750-watt single hub motor bike up this hill will go 11 miles per hour. 15, 14. So 14 miles per hour is the slowest that it went up that hill with just throttle only. So it beat my fastest single hub motor bike by 3 miles per hour. And when this thing starts, it's really smooth. It doesn't rip your front tire off. It doesn't jerk you or want to throw you or make you lose control. It starts going, and then all of a sudden that front motor kicks in and it really takes you off. Now on that H9 that I reviewed, there was a little bit of noise coming from the front motor at full speed. So we're going to see if this bike does it as well, or if this one is quiet. And a lot of people commented below on my other video, not quite sure why it's doing that. I mean, I haven't really seen any issues with it causing any problems, but it was just a little odd that it made a little bit of noise. But Wallke did reach out to me because a few commenters were asking them about the noise, so they did reach out to me to ask me about it. But if they decide they want to send me another controller or a front motor to see if that solves the issue on the H9, I'll update you guys down below in the comments of that video. Hey, I just wanted to jump in here real quick and say that Wallke did reach out to me and ask me about the noise in my video, because they had some people asking them about it. I guess they've seen my video and reached out to them. So it is cool that they reached out to me to ask me if it was making noise. I sent them a clip, they sent it to their engineering, and their response was that the output power of the controller and the power consumption are larger on dual motor mode. The load on the front wheel is heavier than the rear wheel, so it will use more power. The noise will be louder when climbing, and all-wheel drive mode will be louder than one-wheel drive mode. That's normal. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comments. Let's get back to it. So now let's see what kind of speed we can get on this straight stretch here and see if it makes that noise. 20, 23, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. And I can hear that noise slightly coming from the front. Let me let off the gas and give it some more. Slight incline here. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. And this is slight incline, not a whole lot. Now I'm going up a steeper incline. Let's see if the motor makes any noises. Sounded like it started to just slightly. Maintaining good speed coming up that hill. I haven't pedaled yet. feel like that motor makes that noise as well. And then I let off the throttle, hit it again. There's 32, going down a slight decline there. 31, going back uphill. And that motor is making that noise again. Not sure why it does that. It did that on the H9 as well. But it cleared out. I did not let off the throttle that time, and that cleared out. So not quite sure, but this thing is ripping up this hill just like the H9 did. 22 miles an hour, haven't pedaled. I'm gonna go ahead and start pedaling a little bit. And I've basically been full throttle for the last, I don't know, 2 minutes or so. Just to see if it overheats that controller, or to see if it's still gonna give me good power. And I'm ripping up this 26 miles an hour, 25. I quit pedaling again. Definitely not gonna get any exercise like this, but you can let off that throttle and start pedaling and get tons of exercise if you wanted. All right, so I still hear a little bit of a wah, 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 wah noise. I'm gonna put the GoPro down closer to the front wheel, and we're gonna see if you guys can hear it a little bit better that way. All right, so you can hear there with the microphone down below, hopefully a little bit better, the whoa, 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 whoa noise it was making. Now that's usually when it's full throttle, getting up to high speeds. Now I just bumped it down into PAS4 coming back, and it didn't seem to make that noise. So I'm gonna go ahead in the settings and bump this back down to 96% for pedal assist 5, because that's what it came to set factory. I always max my bikes out to show their full potential, so I set it to 100. So we're gonna put it back on 96 and see if it still does it. So to do that, you hold the plus and minus button down, get you into the display settings. I don't know how good you're going to be able to see this. Going to go down to advanced settings, assist levels, go into there, and I'm going to set 4 back down to 96% and see if that makes any difference. All right, here we go. And I got the microphone back up here so you guys can hear me. And it's still doing it. So I'm not sure what that noise is, but we're gonna go ahead and rip on this bike down some dirt roads and up a steep hill, and we're gonna see if it breaks it. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Now this bike does have the quad hydraulic disc brakes on it, 4-piston hydraulic disc brakes. And the suspension's not the greatest on it. The front's not bad. The front seems decent, but the back is a little bit stiff, a little springy. So the motor's quiet now. Let's bump it up to 5. Yeah, the motors are quiet until it gets up to full speed on that front motor. So if you're not always trying to max this thing out, it's not going to make that wah, 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 wah noise. 30, 31. Some pretty good bumps here. I mean, the seat's pretty cushiony, so that helps. And the max payload on this bike is 400 pounds with a 110-pound limit on the rear seat. Or you could take that seat off and put a bag on there if you wanted to. So pretty good weight rating on this bike for max weight if you're a bigger rider. See, it doesn't make that noise when you pull out. I almost don't feel like the front motor's really kicking in hard like it was before. Yeah, a little bit, yeah it is. gonna go down, we're gonna come up a really long, steep paved hill, and we're gonna see if that makes any noise coming up that with full throttle for a long distance going uphill. See if putting a strain on it's gonna make a difference, or if it's gonna be quiet because I'll be going at a slower speed, but still be giving it full power. I don't know, guys, but that's why I do these tests, so that you don't have to, and so that you know what you're getting if you plan on ordering. That's the whole reason for me doing these tests. So I hope you guys enjoy. Please leave a comment down below. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoy this content and find it helpful. Brakes are really nice though. Really nice and quiet. I did have to do a pretty good adjustment to the rear wheel. It seemed like the brake caliper wasn't going down all the way on the back rotor. And there was 2 washers underneath the bracket. I did take that off and took one of those 2 washers off, and it seemed to get it down pretty good, and it's pretty much lined up now. All right, we're down here on a straight stretch. Let's see if it makes that noise with just front motor. And we'll see how fast it'll go with just front motor. Now, I do still have it set to 96%. So far, it's not making any noise. Sounded like it almost wanted to do it, but not really, not like it is when it's in dual motor mode. Now we're in dual motor eco mode, so this is going to be a more gradual takeoff. Let's get on the other side of these train tracks here. Ugh. Probably not as high of a top speed either in this mode. Seems like it's not making any noise in this mode, but it's also not getting me up to full speed either. All right, so now let's try just rear motor. All right, rear motor mode. So it looks like rear motor mode get you up to around 26. I think it's still climbing, but gradually 27, and it's not making any noise. So individually, the motors are not making any noises. It's just when you're in dual motor mode for some reason. All right, guys, so we're back in dual motor mode, fast dual motor mode, and we're gonna see what kind of speed we can hit now, and then we're gonna hit that long steep hill going back up and see if this motor makes any noise going up that hill. So let's see how it does. And this is a fairly level stretch here. Yep, starting to make that noise. Let's see if it clears out. Yeah, it cleared up. 29, 30, 29. So I'd say about 30 miles an hour. All right, see how it does. And it started to do a little bit there at the bottom, and then it quieted back up. And it's not making that noise now. So it's only at really high speed that it does it. And it's pulling me up this hill with just throttle. That's insane. 11 miles an hour. That is insane. This is a huge hill. That's crazy, guys. I'm really impressed. I never thought this bike would pull me up this hill with just throttle only. Wonder if it's gonna overheat anything by the time we get to the top. This is a good test for the controller to see how good the controller is. A little bit of noise there coming from the front brakes. That's impressive. That is very impressive that it pulled me up that with just throttle only. That was a huge hill. I have not found a single hub motor bike yet that would pull me up that easy. All right, let's rip it back up this gravel road here and see how it does. Now this does only have a 14 to 28 freewheel on it, just like the H9 Would have been nice to see an 11 to 28 to give you a little bit better, higher speed pedaling without running out of pedaling or ghost pedaling. This is my cadence here at 23, 25, so a little fast. Would have been nice to see a different freewheel on it. So if you like riding at higher speeds, then you're probably going to want to upgrade that. No problems coming up here. It is a little bit bouncy with the weight of this bike and the suspension that's on it. It's not too bad. And you can see here, I'm going to give it full throttle. It does not take off like a maniac. It does take some time to get up to speed there. And it looks like the voltage is down to 47.8. Let's see if I shut the bike off and turn it back on, if that goes up any. Some bikes are programmed to keep the voltage down whenever it's under load. Yeah, so 50.8 now, so not quite halfway down on the battery yet. All right, so I want to go over a few other things I noticed about this bike. The first thing being is that I feel like they should have had some kind of rubber grommet here to protect these wires. They do have them wrapped, but you can see where this one's kind of starting to get a little bit scratched up from being in there. I feel like this should have had some kind of rubberized thing around here to protect these wires a little bit better. Maybe it had one on in shipping. I doubt it because I don't see it on the wires. Seems like they just wrapped them in here and shoved them in here, so kind of sad to see that. Quality wise though, everything else seems decent. Like I said, nothing really to write home about on the rear shocks. They are springy, not adjustable. Yes, there is some suspension, but not the greatest. Now the minimum seat height on this bike is 34 inches from the ground up, which is about 2 inches lower than the H9 when I measured it. And the minimum step over height on this bike is 19.7 inches. So it is still pretty high up off that ground, but definitely way lower than the original step over folding bike. You have your charge port here on the battery for the 5 amp charger. And one thing I thought was kind of odd is this one does not have a flip up seat. Normally when the battery's behind the seat, it has a lever here, like on the H9 where you can flip it up to remove the battery. This one does not. So you actually have to take the seat post all the way out of here whenever you want to take the battery out of the bike. So I don't know why they decided to go with that choice on this one. Now you could always put a suspension seat post in there to get the back a little bit more cushiony. However, that will make your seat sit up a couple inches higher. And like I said on the brakes, they're Disland brakes, quad piston and 180 millimeter rotors on both the front and the rear of the bike. Pretty heavy duty adjustable kickstand, rear seat on the back, and it does have a brake light that is also a tail light whenever you pull the brake lever. Set of aluminum pedals, comes with front and rear fenders. Really nice big headlight on the front, which turns on automatically if you have it set on that setting, and that it has some adjustability there in the display that you can adjust the sensitivity for that. But pretty cool headlight on the front. It does have a cheap entry-level Shimano tourney derailleur. And like I said, if you like traveling at higher speeds, you'd probably want to upgrade this freewheel. I do like the handlebars on it though. They do kind of remind me of the Aero Rider handlebars, the way they're designed here, this H style. Pretty cool, pretty nice handlebars. They do not fold down though, so if you needed to fold those down to get a little bit more compact, not really going to be an option. You'd have to get an adjustable or fold down stem here. You have a half grip twist throttle on the right hand side, horn button underneath that, and a 7-speed Shimano shifter. The display is pretty nice. It does have Bluetooth and will connect to an app, and it has a Find My feature where you can use Find My iPhone to find your bike. But just like the H9, unless the battery's in and the key's on, that's not going to really be useful. So I'd say that feature is pretty much useless because you're not going to leave your key in the bike and turned on when you have it parked somewhere in a store or whatnot. So overall, this bike is really fast. It has good power up the hills. However, a couple things I didn't like was that grommet missing. Like I said, no flip up seat. The rear brakes needed some attention to because they didn't fit down right on the rotor. And their front noise, like I said, not sure why it's doing that. The H9 did that too. So I feel like there's definitely a couple things that I think they should address and hopefully update in the future. So now let me know your opinion, and if you're interested in this bike after seeing all this, I'll put the links and the coupons down below, like I said. But if not, consider subscribing, and I will definitely see you guys around on the next one. Leave a comment, let me know what you thought of it. Thanks for watching, everyone.